No, no, yes. Now we are on live. Veronica is the is in charge of the presentation.
Okay, so we can start the seminar. Okay, so dear participants, I will start by actually reminding to all of you that today's seminar is being recorded. It is solely for purposes of dissemination and communication of the project. It is something that we must do according to the European Commission rules. If any one of the participants has any objection to this, they are free to leave the meeting. So having said that, I would like to thank you, all of you, for showing up today in our seminar. Thank you very much for your interest in our project. My name is Magda Spela. I am a member of the Hellenic Open University team. Hellenic Open University is the coordinator of this project. So SpicE stands for, okay, thank you. SpicE stands for Special Education STEAM Academy. And today's seminar is about this, is about introducing to all of you who came here today our training program, the program that SpicE has developed for inclusive STEAM education. As far as we know, we are around 350 participants here today, which shows to us actually that this topic is of high interest around Europe, and actually gives us a big boost to continue our efforts to deliver a high-quality special education training program. If we can go to the next slide, please. I will quickly go over the agenda of today's event. So after this brief introduction, Professor Achilles Kamias, Dean of the School of Science Dean of the School of Science and Technology of the Hellenic Open University and the scientific coordinator of the project, will give an overview about the SpicE project. After this, can we go back one slide, please, to the agenda? Thank you. After Professor Kameas, Ms. Georgia Sekelaropoulou, special education teacher, will present the educator's competencies framework that the project has developed for inclusive STEAM education. After that, the University of Cyprus will take over with Dr. Marios Papavripoulou and Dr. Yvonne Pavlou, who are members of the teaching and research staff of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Education of the university. They will present how our training program was developed, and they will give an overview of the MOOC and the blended learning components. Whereas Professor Lefkothea Kartasidou from the University of Macedonia, Greece, will present the exchange component of the training program. Finally, Professor Rosabel Martinez of the Department of General Didactics and Specific Didactics of the University of Alicante will present the project community of practice and moderate the Q&A session. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. This is the link to the pre-registration form of the MOOC. You can either use this link or scan this QR code so that you can access our pre-registration form for the MOOC. This link will also be circulated in the chat box during this seminar. Furthermore, our colleagues will also circulate in the chat box the link to this seminar so that you can all get your certificates after the end of the seminar. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish to all of you a very interesting and fruitful seminar. And I believe that we can give the floor to Professor Kameas to continue with his presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magda. I hope you can hear me. Okay, let me try and share my presentation. Can you see my presentation? Okay, there it is. Good. So thank you all for being here with us. Thank you, Magda, for the introduction and for moderating the today's event. I am Achilles Kameas. I'm professor with Hellenic Open University, and I'm the coordinator of the SpicE project, the Special Education STEAM Academy, a project that is being funded under the Erasmus Plus Teacher Academies program. It belongs to the first group of teacher academies, and as I will show you in the following, we have already achieved important results, and we have more in store for educators, as they are our primary focus. So the partnership of the project contains 9 partners from 4 different countries. From Greece, it's Hellenic Open University and Reed Lab and the University of Macedonia. From Spain, we have the University of Alicante, who is also organizing this meeting. So thank you, Rosabel and team from the University of Alicante. From Bulgaria, we have the syndicate of educators. We have the University of Thrace, Thrakiski University, and we have the School of Christo Sminevsky. And from Cyprus, we have the University of Cyprus and the Ministry of Education, Sport and Youth of Cyprus, and a school representing the ministry. In this event, you will see you will hear participants, members from almost all partners and countries that will present different aspects, important aspects of this project. SpicE project is about educational inclusion, and more specifically about including in STEAM classrooms students with mild disabilities. But we do not address students directly. We address educators, primary education educators, primary education teachers, because we recognize that teachers are the agents of change in our society, and if we want our society to move forward, then we have to support teachers as much as we can in developing new competencies or all the necessary competencies required to apply new educational approaches, such as STEAM education. STEAM education by itself is an integrating and inclusive approach. However, its application in the classroom requires new competencies, new infrastructure, lots of policy changes, and above all, a change in our mindset. That is why we say that in this project is about inclusion, and we hope to bring up this change of mindset, starting from the most important pillar of education and society in general, the educators, the teachers. The challenge in our project is to combine STEAM education with special needs education. These two educational sectors exist, but for the moment we haven't found yet an overlap. I think we are, okay, if not the first project, one of the first groups dealing with inclusive STEAM education. Already STEM and STEAM education is a big challenge. If we add inclusive there, it becomes even bigger. But we have to start somewhere, and we have to start sometime if we want this to become a reality, and this is what we are doing in this project. So inclusion is the target, educators are the vehicles, and STEM education is the vehicle, and educators are the agents on which we are investing in order to bring about this new mindset and deal with the challenges. This project should be running for 3 years. Now we are at the end of the second year. We have done all the background work. We have done the research. We have done the studies. We have done different developments and outcomes, as I will show in the next slides. And we are ready now to offer, to give back to the society that is funding the project. And what we are going to give back is competence development of teachers. This is what this event is about. Today, we're going to tell you what we have in offer, what we have in stock for you, what we're going to offer to all these teachers, educators, school principals, education policymakers, and any other stakeholders who are interested in what is inclusive STEM education. My presentation is an overview of the project. The presentations that will follow, as you already saw in the agenda, will focus on these specific aspects of the training offer. This was an ambitious project. It had many projected results, and we are really happy and proud that we have achieved more of them, and we have one more year to achieve what is remaining. We did an analysis of the STEM educators' needs in the different participating countries, and as a result, we have produced, we have collected STEM education, STEM special education practices. Then we produced the STEM special educator competence framework and the STEM special education framework and a set of profiles for inclusive STEM educators. I will go into more details about this later on. Then we have designed, and now we are ready to offer the curriculum for inclusive STEM educator. We have developed a community of practice in which you can all become members. You will hear more about that later on today. The training program is the focus of this event, and we are now working on policy recommendations on different peer learning approaches within the consortium, on influencing the policymakers, and also there is going to be an international final conference, plus different events like this one that we are organizing at national and international levels. Now, some of the important outcomes of the project that we have achieved until now, and which are all available via the project website for free. So those of you who are interested can go there, download these outcomes and use them, and let us know what you did with them. We're really happy to find out that our work has impact in society, and especially in education. This is why we are doing everything, actually. One first important outcome is the education framework for STEM and in inclusive education. This is a report, it's a document that can be used to give that gives a comprehensive, let's say, overview of what is inclusive STEM education. It contains policy trends, it mentions which are the stakeholders, and then it describes the body of knowledge, gives examples of OERs. It describes instructional methods that can be used and didactic techniques, example learning activities, assessment procedures, and then mentions a set of procedures, resources, and tools that teachers can use for inclusive STEM education. I think you will find it useful. It has been compiled with the contribution of all partners under the coordination of University of Macedonia, and it's available via the website. Then one very important outcome on which practically the entire project is based is the competence framework for inclusive STEM educators. If we're going to talk about competence development, this should be a systematic process. So our approach here is first to design and develop a competence framework and validate it with educators. We did this throughout the first year and a half of the project. And we ended up with this framework, which approaches the role of inclusive STEM educator from 5 different perspectives of educators. As you can see in the slide, the educator as a trainer and tutor, the educator as a content creator and designer, the educator as an orchestrator of the classroom, a new role actually, not that came up throughout as a result of our research. Educator as a community member, because nobody is or should be alone today, and STEAM education is actually a collective learning process, and also an educator as a professional who is responsible for improving his professional, his career and for his personal professional development. The competence framework contains 16 competence areas, 42 competencies, and 200 statements. Statements describe competencies, so if you don't see details here in the titles of the competencies, you will find all the details you need in the statements. The statements are sort of learning outcomes which indicate how one can implement trainings or other activities to obtain a competence. This is our, let's say, a very important outcome. It's the first of its type in the world. We didn't find actually any other similar framework. And on this framework, we are basing the following, many of the following activities of the project. For example, after research with educators, we came up with 4 occupational profiles for inclusive STEAM primary educators. These are based on the competence framework. They use existing profiles in the ESCO database of primary educators, which we enhance with inclusive STEAM education competencies coming from the framework. Our research with educators showed that in order to apply STEAM education, we need these roles to be available in the classroom and in the school in general. Based on this, we designed and we are going to offer, starting September, a training curriculum for STEAM and inclusive education, which consists of 3 stages. The first stage is a massive online open course that will start in September and it will be open to everybody who wants to learn about inclusive STEAM education. You will hear more details about it later. Let me say only that the aim of this MOOC is to give to those participating the basics of inclusive STEAM education. Of course, it will award certificates, it will award badges. It's as official as possible, and of course, and I hope it will be great fun to participate in it. We've been working for developing the content for the past 6 months, the entire consortium. Then the MOOC will be followed by a blended course. A blended course means that we are going to have online, synchronous and asynchronous teaching activities, learning activities, targeted to selected educators from those who will graduate the MOOC. And the final stage, the MOOC is based on the framework. So when you finish specific modules, you get badges for specific competencies. Then the blended course goes into detail on some of these competencies, giving you more capacity. And finally, we have a mobility program for, unfortunately, few of the educators that will participate in the first 2 stages, because this is a matter of funding here, in which the selected educators from the partner countries will go to the other partner countries in order to see in practice what is happening there regarding inclusive STEAM education. And we hope this experience, this holistic approach, this, let's say, tool set of competence development instruments will enable the educators that will participate in it develop the necessary competencies to apply inclusive STEAM education. And then we have for everybody, for you and everybody else, a community of practice, a platform in which you can register, become members of this community of practice, and exchange ideas with peers, discuss issues, find about good practices and other documentation you may need for your inclusive STEAM education activities. And as part of this project, this community of practice will become an alliance of inclusive STEAM educators towards during the last year of the project. So it will, let's say, acquire a more official status in which both individuals and organizations can be members and will be supported by a platform. Actually, we are building quite a few platforms in this project. The platform for the community of practice, the platform for the alliance, the platform for the education, offering the education. And in this way, we are going to support, of course, all of this, since we're talking about inclusive education here, all of these platforms adhere to accessibility principles. In this way, we want to support all those who are interested in joining our community. So thank you very much again for being here. If you want to find out more about SpicE Academy, these are the this is the website or the social media keyword hashtag that you can use to follow the project and benefit from what we are doing.
Hello from me. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. My name is Georgia Sikleropoulou. Thank you, Mr. Achilles, for the floor. And along with Mr. Kames Achilles and Spiropoulou Natalia, we present the DAISY Research Group of Hellenic Open University. Today, I will present you with more detail the SpicE Educator's competence framework for inclusive STEAM education that was developed in the context of SpicE project. The objectives of the current presentation are to introduce you to competence frameworks and inclusive STEAM education initiatives, to inform you about the need and the methodology for the design of our competence framework, and to inform you about the elements of our framework. In order to do so, we will provide you some definitions, some important definitions, the need for the framework development, the methodology, and the components of the framework. Now, starting from the definition, competence frameworks are descriptions of what teachers, educators need to know and be able to do in a specific context. In our case, we have focused on qualified teachers, so our competence framework describes what a qualified teacher, educator needs to know and be able to do in an inclusive STEAM classroom with students with mild disabilities. The framework components, as taken from Spiropoulou and Kamea study, consist of 3 different levels, which are the perspectives, which describe the roles of educators in inclusive STEAM education, the competence areas that describe the dimensions of their roles, the competencies and the competencies that describe what educators should know and be able to do in each dimension of their role. In addition, we have, as Mr. Achilles said, the statements that provide practical examples of what competencies represent. Now, starting from the important definitions here, which are those of inclusive and STEAM education. Inclusive education is, according to UNESCO Salamanca Statement, an education that recognizes and responds to the diverse needs of all students, including those with special education needs. Special education needs students are students with impairments that are seen as requiring additional educational support. One subgroup of such students, that Project SpicE focus on are those with mild disabilities. Students with mild disabilities present mild intellectual disorders, learning disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, and/or mild emotional or behavioral difficulties. They consist of a heterogeneous group of students and may present various problems during all educational interventions and STEAM educational intervention as well. STEAM education, with the acronyms to refer to science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, is an interdisciplinary approach based on real-world problems that aims to foster students' inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. And now, as for inclusive STEAM education, it is a newly formulated approach. It combines knowledge, practices, and the instructional methodologies of inclusive education and STEAM education. It aims to provide equal opportunities to all students in STEAM education, and it aims also to fight discrimination, biases, and possible marginalization in STEAM classrooms. As inclusive STEM education is a newly formulated approach, no accepted definition exists for the term. Nevertheless, in the context of SpicE project, we have combined some constituent parts from inclusive and STEM education definition in order to have all the same ground of understanding about the term. So, according to us, inclusive STEM education is an approach to teaching and learning that uses STEM disciplines and all students' talents, interests, and needs as components for fostering and guiding inquiry, dialogue, critical thinking, and diversity and disability awareness among them. It also could promote equity by addressing barriers to participation, fostering a sense of belonging, and providing opportunities for all students to engage meaningfully in STEM disciplines and prepare them, of course, in order to succeed in a diverse and interconnected world. As for the need now, through the literature review that we have made in the context of SpicE project, we have found that little evidence exists about the application and implementation of STEM education in inclusive settings. Little research is found concerning educators' needs on inclusive STEM educational environments, and the roles of educators within inclusive STEM educational environments have not been properly investigated. In addition, no framework concerning educators' competencies in inclusive STEM education exists in order to provide solution. For this reason, Project SpicE has come to address such gap, developing an inclusive STEM educators' competence framework. For doing so, we have used the STEM Educators Competence Framework of Mrs. Spiropoulou and Kameas as the basis for the development of our competence framework. This acted as a valuable tool during all developmental phases. At the development of the framework, SpicE uses an approach from the community and for the community to engage the educators community in different stages of the methodology. The developmental methodology combined the prototyping method of computer engineering, as you can see, with an existing methodology of Fong et al. For framework development. It consisted of various steps, and we have involved the educators community in most of them. Now, as a result of such process, we concluded to the competence framework for inclusive STEM education, which consisted of 5 perspectives, 16 competence areas, 42 competencies, and 203 statements. The perspectives which represented the roles of educators in inclusive STEM education was those of educator as an inclusive STEM teacher, trainer, tutor, educator as an inclusive STEM education designer and creator, educator as an inclusive STEM education orchestrator, educator as a community member, and educator as a growing inclusive STEM professional. Starting from the first role, which is this of educators as an inclusive STEM teacher, trainer, tutor, this role is linked with the implementation of the inclusive STEM educational procedure. So, in this role, we put educators in the classroom and we describe what educators should do within classrooms, inclusive STEM classrooms, in order to be successful. In such case, what we have found is that educators have to know inclusive STEM education foundations, have to have knowledge on these fields, how should implement learning profiling in those classrooms, combine teaching methods from inclusive STEM education, use different assessment methods, and do everything to empower learners within classrooms. Of course, they should also use appropriate resources and instructions according to all learners' needs. Continuing with the second role, which is this of designer and creator, this role is linked with the design and creation of inclusive STEM opportunities. It has 3 competence areas, 3 dimensions, in which directors should know how to design and adapt inclusive STEM curricula, active courses, lessons, and activities projects according to all learners' needs, how to design, create, and adapt resources and instructions according to all learners' needs, and how to empower and how to promote all learners' development. Continuing with the third role, which is this of inclusive STEM education orchestrator, this role is linked to the coordination and management of inclusive STEM procedure, resources, and classrooms members. Here we have 2 competence areas, which are those of the management of resources and procedures, and the other of classroom member coordination. In addition, 5 competencies describe further those 2 competence areas. Continuing with the fourth role, which is this of inclusive STEM education community member, this role is linked with the interaction of educators with the environment. It has two competence areas, which refer to community building and awareness raising in inclusive STEM education field and application of policies. And it has also 5 competencies that describe further those two competence areas, those 2 dimensions of this role. Finally, concluding with the last role, which is this of educator as a growing inclusive STEM professional, this role is linked with the development and application of educators' personal and professional competencies. In this case, educators should develop transferable skills, digital skills, and self-reflective skills for their own personal and professional development. Those are the 3 dimensions of this role, and there are also 8 competencies that describe further those 3 dimensions. By concluding, we don't. It is a GIF, but it doesn't appear well here, as I can see. The competence frameworks are necessary, and our competence framework also too, because it is based on educators' needs, as Mr. Kames already told you. It also promotes good practices through the statements, and it can be a road. It acts as a self-improvement tool, self-assessment tool, and self-improvement tool for educators. And it can also act as a roadmap for the organization of targeted and effective professional development programs for educators. One of these programs will be described by our colleague from University of Cyprus, Mr. Papapipidou Marios. Thank you very much.
So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Welcome to today's online seminar on the SpicE training program. My name is Marios Papapidou from the University of Cyprus, and in this presentation, I will give you an overview of the goals of the SpicE training program. Then I will reflect on the methodology followed for developing the SpicE training program, and I will finish by providing an overview of the training program. So let's begin with the goals of the training program. The SpicE training program aims to reinforce and support the professional development of educators, both in service and prospective teachers. Our goal is to fully exploit the benefits of STEAM frameworks and approaches to enhance the inclusion of learners with mild disabilities in mainstream classrooms. This is crucial for fostering an inclusive educational environment where all students can thrive. Inclusive STEM education offers several significant benefits. Firstly, it fosters creativity and innovation by encouraging students to think outside the box, explore new ideas, and develop creative solutions to real-world problems. Secondly, it promotes collaboration and communication as STEAM activities often involve teamwork, helping students to learn to work together effectively and communicate with their ideas clearly. Thirdly, it enhances problem-solving skills by challenging students to identify problems, analyze information, and develop creative solutions. And lastly, it prepares students for the future by equipping them with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in a rapidly changing world, particularly in STEAM fields and other areas. Developing the SpicE training program involves several key steps. We started with the development of a joint STEAM curriculum specifically designed for the special education, as mentioned earlier by the previous speaker. The development of the STEAM curriculum was carried out in 3 distinctive phases. In phase 1, we identified the needs of teachers for each segment of the training program through a gap analysis conducted by the University of Macedonia in 2023. Phase 2 involved selecting and aligning competences and educator roles to learning pathways and teachers' needs, resulting in the first version of the curriculum. This phase was guided by documents like the STEAM Educator competence frameworks and profiles for special needs, and the education framework for STEAM in special education. And finally, phase 3 focused on the internal review of the curriculum leading to the final version. The SpicE training program emphasizes addressing teachers' needs and competences. It is grounded in theoretical underpinnings of effective professional development and inclusive STEAM education. The program maintains a strong connection to institutional and national policies in the involved countries, adhering to EU policies. It is structured in a flexible modular format, offering a variety of resources available in asynchronous, blended, and synchronous learning formats. This approach ensures that the program can be adapted to participants' prior knowledge and needs. In developing the SpicE training program, we used a team-oriented approach based on the AD model, that is, analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. Each module was assigned to experts in the field to ensure high-quality content. For each module, we focused on competences. We defined specific competences using the inclusive STEAM competence framework. We formulated clear goals that pertain to the participants, to what participants should achieve by the end of each module. We defined learning objectives. These refer to measurable outcomes to ensure the objectives that the objectives will be met. And we designed a variety of engaging activities to facilitate learning and application of knowledge. And lastly, appropriate formats for resources, including e-documents, videos, and presentations, were selected to support diverse learning preferences. This method ensures the program is comprehensive, adaptable, and effective in equipping educators to enhance the inclusion of learners with mild disabilities. The next steps of our methodology concern the development of educational material for the training program and the development and customization of a virtual learning environment to facilitate and support the training program. Let's take a closer look now at the structures of the SpicE training program. It is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 is a massive open online course, or MOOC, that will be conducted in an asynchronous online setting within the SpicE virtual learning environment. Phase 2 is a blended learning approach that combines both synchronous and asynchronous settings through the same virtual learning environment. Finally, phase 3 involves exchange programs that require the physical presence of participants and tutors in Spain and Cyprus, fostering direct interaction and collaboration. Here are the details on who can participate in each phase of the training program. The MOOC is open to a broad range of educational professionals and students, including pre- and in-service primary school teachers, educators of all levels and subject areas, special and inclusive education educators, school managers and directors, as well as undergraduate and postgraduate students in educational sciences or related fields. The blended learning phase is available to pre-service and in-service primary school teachers who have successfully completed the MOOC, scoring above 60% on multiple choice questions. The exchange programs will select a total of 48 educators with 12 participants from each of the 4 countries involved. And these participants are required to have a fundamental understanding of the content from the first 2 phases of the training program. Now let's review the schedule for each phase of the training program. The MOOC is scheduled to start in the 2nd week of September and will run until the 2nd week of October. Following that, the blended learning phase will begin the 1st week of November and continue until the 1st week of December. The exchange programs will take place next year, with sessions scheduled for January 19th to 26th in Spain, specifically in Alicante, and April 6th to 13th in Cyprus in Nicosia. This schedule allows ample time for participants to engage deeply with each phase of the program. Thank you all for your attention and participation. We hope that this overview has provided you with a clear understanding of the program's goals, benefits, development process, and schedule. And I will give now the floor to my colleague Ivone to give you a more detailed overview of the first 2 phases of the training. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. So Marios presented the overall structure of the training program, and I'm just going to showcase a bit more what the program includes. So firstly, I'm going to present the environment that this training will take place in, then a bit more information about the MOOC, and then we are going to close the presentation with an overview of the blended learning program. So as Marios mentioned, the training has 3 phases. The first phase is the MOOC, which you can take part in an asynchronous mode. That means that you are able to participate at your own pace, self-regulate your own learning. The blended learning offers both synchronous and asynchronous formats. That means that there will be presentations and videos available that you can view at your own time, at your own pace, but there will also be some synchronous meetings that some workshops and some lectures will take place to know each other, exchange ideas, and of course, engage within the community of SpicE. And the final phase that my colleague is going to present in the next presentation concerns the exchange programs, which is a synchronous learning settings in Spain and in Cyprus for all participants and tutors to engage in. So let's first see a bit about the virtual learning environment. Both the blended and the MOOC will take place there. You can very easily visit it through the SpicE website and by clicking on platform. And you will see that both courses are available there. The MOOC will start first, and then when it commences, the blended learning will be available for you to enroll. So these are the 3 main features of the blended learning program and the MOOC that are very important to highlight. The most important thing, at least for me, is the opportunity to be engaged in a community. As you have seen from the previous presentations, building a community of inclusive STEM educators is very important for the project, and we want to offer multiple opportunities for the participants, for the teachers and other professionals to be involved in the community. So there will be a lot of offers during the blended learning program and the MOOC to be involved and meet other people, educators, tutors, and professionals that are interested in inclusive STEM education. Of course, the other important thing is the flexibility that it is available. For example, you can self-regulate your learning during the MOOC and during the blended learning program. It's up to you when you visit the MOOC and how you are going to work there. So that's very important as well. And of course, there will be certificates granted to the participants and badges that showcase your achievements during the learning program. So now let's move to the MOOC. The title of the MOOC is STEM Education for All Learners, Incorporating STEM and Inclusive Education Practices in Everyday Teaching. And this is just the main page of the MOOC. As you can see, the MOOC is available for all educational levels. So for primary school teachers, for secondary school teachers, or any professional or researcher interested in inclusive STEM education. It will be available in English, but videos and certain other aspects of the MOOC will be translated, will be available to translate for participants that want to do so. And of course, it's free. So here are the overview of the program. It's important to mention that when we developed the training program, it was important for us to have a spiral development of knowledge for the participants. So the MOOC, since the first stage, the first phase of the training program, you will see that the main learning objective there is to develop foundational knowledge for inclusive and for special education, for STEM education, and of course, for the 2 concepts combined, inclusive STEM education. So the MOOC focuses on developing the foundational knowledge and skills for that concept. The MOOC spans 5 weeks, and each week you will see that it includes modules concerning different thematic areas. As I've mentioned before, community is very important to us. So you will see that the MOOC incorporates online forums and different collaborative activities so that we bring together the community, even though it's in an asynchronous setting. And of course, we have specific assessment methods during the MOOC. There are certain self-assessment assignments, mostly for you to self-reflect on the process and on your work as a teacher. We also have some multiple choice quizzes at the end of a set of modules with an online badge awarded for scoring above 60%. And of course, pre and post-test surveys to collect feedback, mostly for improving the MOOC and the blended learning program for future use. This is the overall structure of the MOOC. As I've mentioned before, it spans 5 weeks, and the teachers need to devote 5 to 8 hours per week, approximately. The first week is an introduction to the SpicE project and inclusive STEAM education. The second week concerns STEAM education specifically. The third week concerns inclusive and special education. And the other 2 weeks focus on inclusive STEAM education. Here you can see just an overview of the modules that are available during each week. So, for example, during the first week, you will be introduced to the overall MOOC and to the SpicE project. During the second week that we focus on STEAM education, you will see that we will firstly present the STEAM educational approach, then specific assessment methods, how you can develop students' competences concerning STEAM education, and so forth. During the third week, there will be modules available focusing on inclusive inclusive education. As you can see, certain assessment methods for inclusive education, what inclusive education is, and what type of practices you can incorporate in your everyday teaching, and so forth. And the fourth and fifth week focus on inclusive STEAM education. For example, how STEAM education influences inclusive education, and of course how inclusive education can influence and enhance STEAM education, different EU educational policies, and different other types of modules that you can participate in. So the training and learning materials available during the MOOC are, of course, freely and openly available to you. Some of them you can download and view and edit offline. There will be different type of activities, for example, discussion forums, Padlet, self-reflection activities, certain H5P files. We also have some e-documents and videos that have that offer narration and subtitles. So as you can see, we try to incorporate different type of activities and different type of formats of activities. Now let's move to the blended learning program. The title of the blended program is Becoming an Inclusive STEM Educator, Educational Practices for Pre-Service and In-Service Teachers. So as you can see from the title, there is a distinction between pre-service teachers and in-service teachers, and that is because during our background work, we have seen that in-service teachers and pre-service teachers have different needs. So we wanted during the blended learning to target those specific needs for each group. So the blended learning program builds upon the foundational knowledge of the MOOC, and it aims to deepen the participants' understanding of strategies and skills and the knowledge relevant to inclusive STEAM education, considering the needs, as I said before, of the pre-service teachers and the in-service teachers. The course structure spans 5 weeks and includes modules for in-service teachers or for pre-service teachers, primary school teachers, and some of the modules will be open for both groups. Again, community building is evident here as well. Community building will be part of the blended learning through real-time engagement during the synchronous meetings, through interaction among participants, to provide opportunities to foster knowledge, to share ideas, and discuss with each other, basically. And the assessment methods for the blended learning program will be based on the active participation of the involved participants and the completion of assignments that are pertinent to the specific modules content. And of course, again, we have certain surveys just for us to collect feedback on the overall structure of the blended learning program. So the blended learning program will be open to pre-service and in-service teachers, specifically primary school teachers that have completed the MOOC. So since we want to build on the knowledge from the MOOC, we want the participants to be aware of the content and build on that. And of course, again, it will be in English and it's free of charge. And as I said before, since we notice different needs for pre-service and in-service teachers, some of which you can see in this slide here, we wanted to develop specific modules targeting the needs of pre-service and in-service teachers in each time. So the blended learning program does span 5 weeks, and each week we will offer training modules for in-service teachers and pre-service teachers. The only module that it's the same for both groups will be the introduction during the first week. So for example, we have noticed that the pre-service teachers need a bit more knowledge, theoretical underpinnings concerning STEM education and inclusive STEM education, whereas in-service teachers have a bigger need of focusing on practical aspects of implementing such practices. So you will see from the structure that the pre-service teachers, for example, have a bit more modules focusing on building understanding and skills about inclusion and about STEM education, whereas the modules for the in-service teachers are a bit more focusing on the practical aspects. But a lot of these modules will be open for participation, for optional participation to other teachers as well. So for example, if an in-service teacher wants to build a bit more knowledge about STEM education, they will be available to participate in the module for the pre-service teachers. So this will be open, but we still have a separate structure for each group of teachers. So as Marios mentioned before, the MOOC is scheduled to start in the second week of September and will run until the second week of October. And the blended learning will start the first week of November and run until the first week of December. Of course, pre-registration for the MOOC is open. So if you want to be part of our SpicE community, you can pre-register for participating in the training by either scanning the QR code that you can see here or by just visiting the website of the SpicE program and clicking on the platform tab. So that's all for me. Thank you a lot. And I will give the floor to Levkothea to present the exchange programs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Levkothea Kartasidou. I am a professor at the University of Macedonia in the field of special education. As stated before, I am going here to present and give an overview of the learning mobilities that are planned in the framework of the training, and they are a very important part of the training during the SpicE project. So first, I'm going to give a small introduction concerning the aim, the time plan, and the participants that can participate in mobilities. Then I'll refer to the competence learning objectives, and I'm going to close in order to present some organization activities and, of course, the evaluation process. As stated before, the mobilities are the third phase of the SpicE training program. It includes 2 mobilities, which will be implemented in the following order, as stated before by Marios. The first exchange program will be hosted by the University of Alicante and will take place in January 2025. The second exchange program will be hosted by the University of Cyprus and will take place in April 2025.
Its mobility will last 8 days, consisting of 6 days of training and 2 days dedicated to travel. The mobility training programs aim to enhance the educator's competencies acquired for the participation in the MOOC and blended learning courses. Here, based on what has been told already from the previous presenters, we focus on the role of educator as inclusive STEAM teacher, trainer, tutor, the role of educator as an inclusive STEAM education designer and creator, the role of educator as a community member, and of course, the role of educator as a growing inclusive STEAM professional. What's the plan concerning the participants? It is planned to have 48 participants, 12 from each country that is involved in the project, as stated before, Greece, Spain, Cyprus, and Bulgaria. The profile is to have pre-service and in-service primary education teachers, general and special education, from the general and special educational field. And the prerequisites are that they are going to have an active involvement in MOOC and in blended learning. So, just a small presentation concerning the competencies and the learning objectives of each mobility. The first mobility, as stated before, it's going to be hosted by University of Alicante, and the trainers are going to be from Spain and Greece. The competence of the first, the training mobility, focus on apply educational resources management methods in inclusive STEAM education activities and projects, on the assessment and analysis of individual learners' activity, project performance in inclusive STEAM classrooms, design, create, and adapt appropriate resources and instructions for inclusive STEAM education, develop learner STEAM portfolios, select and use self-reflective practices and tools for inclusive STEAM education, and design and adapt an inclusive STEAM education curriculum of STEAM-related general and special education disciplines. So, concerning the 6 days of the first mobility, we can see the training that will be organized from University of Alicante and the learning objectives. You can see here that the learning objectives are focusing general on inclusive STEAM education, on multiple forms and alternative ways of learners' performance assessment in inclusive STEAM activities and projects. And of course, it's very important to give the opportunity to participants to understand the necessity of learners' portfolios development in assessment and design of inclusive STEAM education. The training of University of Macedonia is going to focus on defining inclusive STEAM educational goals, and of course, to adapt the transdisciplinary STEAM curriculum. One most important thing on teaching generally is designing a program that is defined through very specific educational goals. And of course, we are going to focus here on universal design of learning. The second mobility is going to be hosted by University of Cyprus, and the trainers will be from Cyprus and Bulgaria. The competencies of the second mobility is to develop and apply learning to learn transferable skills, design, create, and adapt appropriate resources and instructions for inclusive STEAM education, facilitate all learners' STEAM competencies, select and use self-reflective practices and tools for inclusive STEAM education, integrate learners' prior knowledge and skills in inclusive STEAM educational procedure, apply inclusive STEAM teaching and learning techniques in inclusive STEAM classrooms, ensure accessibility and inclusion in inclusive STEAM educational procedure, ensure all learners' active engagement in inclusive STEAM activities projects, apply spatial and physical organization methods in inclusive STEAM classrooms, apply time management and learning organization methods for inclusive STEAM activities and projects. in the same framework as before. I'm going to present the learning objectives for the 6 days. Based on the training that University of Cyprus is going to conduct, we see here that the learning objectives are focusing on simulating inclusive STEAM activities, interpreting STEAM inclusive education, and developing in general inclusive STEAM lessons and projects. As for training that is going to be organized from University in Bulgaria, we have the identification, integration of learners' prior knowledge and skills. Most importantly, I think also is to address inclusion and diversity issues, as well to know, understand, and be able to use techniques to enhance the active participation of learners. So some organizational issues, activities and evaluation. I'm going to give one example for some learning objectives, since it's not easy to cover all learning objectives in one presentation. As you can see, the whole process is organized very in a way that it can be collaborative in plenary sessions as well as in work groups. It is going to be organized with presentation slides, also with case-based scenarios. And of course, during the evaluation, we have discussion as well as key points that are going to be presented from all participants, issues that can be discussed in groups, in small groups or in bigger groups. The same you can see also in another learning objective. The most important thing is that we give the participants, since they are from different countries, to exchange some ideas, to discuss best practices, and of course to raise some issues that are very important concerning inclusive STEAM education. The same is here, similar to another learning objective, where we are focusing here on a universal design of learning. Most of us are familiar with universal design of learning, but at the same time, it is necessary to discuss those issues that we can exchange some ideas in order to develop more reflective lessons. Thank you very much for being here and joining us.
Thank you, Leftokia. Thank you very much. Okay, hello everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you all the participants that are following us in the YouTube channel. We are very, very happy of the attendance of this seminar, and we really hope that you are enjoying our presentations and that you are wondering to join our project. It's a wonderful project that my colleagues explained. So let's keep with the seminar, and now I'm going to present you the SpicE project Community of Practice. At the first round of presentation, my colleague Aquilea presented briefly what is our community of practice, but I'm going to comment more deeply some aspects. So, in first place, the community of practice of the SpicE project is an online platform for educators interested in special education and the STEAM approach. This space promotes collaboration, exchange of experiences, and resources. So here we can see that it's for educators, but it's also open for anybody with interest in STEM education, for anybody with interest in mild disabilities, in inclusion, in social and educative inclusion, educational inclusion. So it's open for everybody. So the main objectives of this initiative, of this dynamic, is to encourage collaboration between educators, to exchange experiences and resources on special education and STEAM practices, and to promote active participation and dialogue among members. So in my opinion, the most important objective is the last one, to promote active participation and dialogue among members, so we can exchange ideas and exchange opinions and best practices regarding STEAM education and inclusive education too. So our community of practice is very clearly structured because we have 3 main forums with different approaches. The first one is the forum called Discussions, in which we include debates and discussions on any issue or any topic related to special education and STEM. But now that we are having a deeper look in our community of practice, we can see that these topics are quite open. Are quite general, so anybody who can join can participate without any problem and without being part of the project. So I encourage you to participate. I would like to tell you that just right now, my colleague Veronica just uploaded the link to register in the community of practice in YouTube chat. So maybe as I am explaining what it is, you can have a look through this webpage. And if you are interested, I hope so, you can join and keep the community growing. So the second part of our forum, it's dedicated to resources in which we can share materials and publications of interest related with our main topics. And the last one, it's related to events and conferences in which we announce relevant events, relevant educational events, and also we report on those that we attended, looking for best practices, best ideas that we listened and attended on these events. So to participate in the community, as I was telling you, members just register on the platform that you have now. You have it now in the YouTube chat. It's a really easy registration process. It's no different from any kind of social media. So you just need your email and a password, an easy password, so you can already be enrolled in our community. So it's really easy. So they can join forums, they can start new discussions and access these shared resources. And also some of the deliverables and most important outputs of the project are being uploaded in the community of practice too, so you can have better contact and better communication with this theoretical part of our project. So let's have a look to our community of practice. And here you can see in this screenshot, this is like the main page of our community of practice. It's really important to know that language, it's not a problem for our community of practice because we are accepting messages in English, Spanish, Bulgarian, and Greek because are the main languages of our project. So language is not a barrier for you to participate. And also you can translate the webpage in any of those languages. You can see that I have here in Spanish, the main names. You can see we have discussions, we have events and conferences, we have resources, we have Wikifacts that it's under development, and we have several opportunities to participate and to feel comfortable within the discussions. Then I would like just to have a quick look to the topics that we are choosing to participate. Here we have several topics. For instance, we have digital classroom super friendly for all. We have stories that bring us together. We have the advantages and pitfalls of real inclusion in schools. We have STEAM classes. We have wonders about if a modern school is possible or not. We have a creative school, and you can see that we have mainly posts in English and in Spanish, but as I said, I insist language is not a problem, so you can start a discussion on any of the languages I just explained. Here you can see the dynamic. For instance, if I would like to access one of the discussions, I would click here, and then I would have this text to write wherever I think, wherever I would like to, and I can see the responses of my colleagues. So it's just like a normal forum working, so it's not any complicate. It's not difficult. It's really easy, and it's I think with a very good web page. We put a lot of effort in work in building this community of practice, in building this web page. So finally, we have this good result, and it's really interesting for you. You can join it too. So here we have just a look through the discussions, because these are more general topic discussions. And then we have also a brief look among the events. Here we can see SpicE in EconEdu 2024. It's just the most recent one. We have a 7th meeting of innovative centers in Alicante. We have here several responses, and also we have other events of other countries, of other regions, in which we can discuss. We can propose new events in case you think they are interesting. And anyway, it's just a space to share opinions about about events and conferences related to STEAM education and also inclusive education. So just to conclude, again, I insist that you have the link in the chat. You can have a look through it if you like, and you can of course register. And we also every 2 weeks we have several new topics launched. In case you don't have any idea or you have no idea on what to comment, we launch like general topics just to encourage people to participate. So you will have like these kind of social media working in our community of practice, so it's really nice. We really like this part of the project because we think it represents an essential component for the exchange of ideas. It's important because it lies in the creation of a collaborative environment where members or not members, anyone who can join, can share knowledge, resources, and experiences. It's not, I insist, only for the members of the project. It's open to anyone who can join, who will join, so it's open for you. The community of practice not only fosters networking among its members, but also acts as a catalyst for the development and implementation of best educational practices. So please feel free to join us in the community of practice. You have all the links. If you have any doubt, maybe you can ask in the discussion session we are starting after this presentation. So thank you very much. Here you have my contact information in case you would like to contact me for any doubt or any question. So thank you very much for your attention. Okay, wonderful. So I was the last speaker of the roundtable we just carried out. So now I think it's time to open the floor for questions, for comments. So please, everybody who is following us using the YouTube channel, please use the YouTube channel chat to question, to tell us anything you would like to comment. And I and my colleagues, we will try to answer you as soon as possible, and we will try to keep the discussion. So please feel free to use the YouTube chat. I know that that my colleague Natalia was answering some of the questions that were being have been posed before during the presentation. So you have there the answer. Now, if you would like to tell some final comments or whatever, please use the YouTube channel. We are checking you there. I am checking you, so my eyes are going there anytime. And please do it. Coño. Okay, now I see that we have a question in YouTube chat. So I enjoy learning computer science. He's asking us that I have just logged into SpicE Academy. Do we have to register for any course? I am Jeannie from India. Okay, so Jeannie, now my colleague Veronica is just reposting the important links of the seminar. So in case you would like to register for the MOOC training program, you would have to press the first link. Yes, she just shared the first link. And in case you would like to join the community of practice, you would have to press the link of the community of practice, which is also there. And now, if you do it like that, you will receive news regarding the MOOC training program, or you will receive news and new updating within the movement and communications in the community of practice. But the first step is to register using the links, and you will be updated with news. Then I remind you all again that to obtain the certificate of attendance, you have the second link. Sorry, there are a lot of links, but are important ones. So please keep attention to this. Pay attention to this. So you would have to register to obtain the certificate of attendance, as we explained. There is a question from Ana Catalá if they are going to visit any schools. Well, this will depend on the organizational aspects on the two mobilities in Alicante and in Cyprus. But as far as I know, in Alicante, that I'm from Alicante, we would make our best to organize dynamic and innovative sessions. And also we would like to schedule some kind of external visit to any school or any educational center. So yes, this is in our mind, but it will depend on the organizational aspects that we will have to schedule during the week we explain and we present it. So please, maybe some of you are wondering if this will be done again, this kind of seminar. So, well, in terms of another kind of seminar, we will be organizing, I don't know exactly the day, but we will do another kind of event like that called an info day, at least from University of Alicante responsibility. So please to keep updated relating this kind of dissemination events, you will have to follow our social media. We explained them before using Twitter, using Facebook. So you will see there new communications, new updates on the project. So this project is very, very alive, and we will keep working. So please keep updated, and also you during and using the community of practice and program and MOOC program. Yes, just we have just reposted the social media user SpicE Academy EU in our YouTube channel, in our YouTube chat. So you can just copy and paste the user and you will find us on social media. Yes, hello, Anna. You have my email. I presented it there. Yes, thank you. rosabel.martinez@ua.es. Please feel free to contact me. You have any further doubts, and I will be glad to answer you. As an service teacher, I have to say the same. Thank you, Ananias Anastasiadis. Sorry for the pronunciation. Thank you very much for your comment. She's telling us that she's an in-service teacher and she has to recognize that the STEAM education seems very promising for students with mild disabilities, engaging them to the classroom activities. Yes, absolutely, yes. Ananias, because we think that we are really used to listen about STEM education, about science, technology, engineering, maths, but sometimes, unfortunately, the students with any kind of special needs, mild disabilities, or even severe disabilities or light disabilities, sometimes they feel some kind of a part of this activity. So it's really a pity, and it's not fair for them and not fair for any of us to not having them included. So this project is precisely about that. We are trying to include every student with mild disabilities, in this case, in the whole class, in the main class, using STEM education, which is really important in our challenging society we are living now. Rina Albano is asking which is the second link for our attendance. So in just a second, they will repost it again in YouTube chat, the link for the attendance. If my colleagues are able to do it, I think so. You will have it again there. Mirela is asking again about the link for the attendance certificate. Yes, it has been posted, but don't worry, we will repost it again so you can copy and paste it more easy. Okay, Christos Koutsikos is asking how long will the program run for. So our MOOC program is starting in September, and it will take within the blended program too, within the first semester of class. But when we start in September, on September, sorry, you will have a better overview of the schedule, of the lessons schedule, so you can organize it, so it will be easy for you to follow it in case you are interested. Okay, so now we have the link to register and get a certificate. Now repost it on YouTube chat, so you can copy and paste it and use it. Okay, so apparently we don't have any further comments. That's a good signal, because every of us explained very, very good our content. I hope that you really enjoyed our seminar. We put a lot of effort organizing it, and seeing that so many people have joined us today online, it's really, really satisfaction for us. It's a good process. It's a good activity that we are doing in this project. So please, we encourage you deeply to join the community of practice, to join the MOOC program using the links. And anyway, you have our contact, you have our social media. So in case you would like to question us, wherever you think, please feel free to do it. We are here for you, and we are trying to make the educational world a bit better, and I hope that we are achieving it. It's a really ambitious goal, but we have to look for the moon, I think. Thank you very much.